Modern American Canasta is back, and today we are discussing items players should agree upon before dealing cards for the day. The confusion over the rules of Modern American Canasta inspired us to write our book. We recognize some groups enjoy playing by house rules. We are sharing important talking points for players to discuss before gameplay, and there's a chapter on this in our guide, Modern American Canasta, the complete guide, which is available on both our website, modernamericancanasta.com, and Amazon, wherever you are. The most overall important discussion before play is Meld base. This needs to be set and stay consistent throughout the round. After opening, the Meld base is the number of natural cards required before adding wild cards to a Meld. Before beginning, groups should set the Meld base at 2, 3, or 5. The most widely played Meld base in Canasta is 5. We discovered this during our research when writing our book. To see the impact of Meld base on gameplay, we invite you to watch a replay of our Zoom on our YouTube channel at Modern American Canasta. An important note, if the Meld base of 5, the most widely played rule is that continues throughout the round. A house rule, however, has come up that a player can end the round with a pair and a wild card. Some players permit this either in tournaments or as a way to speed up the game. Personally, we don't believe this is consistent with a Meld base of 5. Moving on, replacing threes and picking the talon. The most widely accepted rule is that both of these must be done immediately or you can't do it later in the round. Any threes dealt or picked in the talon must be replaced. Dealt, they must be replaced on your first turn. Talon, they must be replaced on the immediate next turn. Otherwise, the threes stay in hand. This makes players weigh the risk and reward of attempting a straight special, which is the only special hand that permits a 3. The talon also must be picked immediately after discarding, or they cannot take it later. Players are not permitted to remind another player to pick either the talon or replace threes. Some house rules do allow a player to replace threes at any time throughout the round and pick their talon if they forgot. Next topic. If a player has the exception met to discard a wild card, the pack cannot be picked by the next player. This is a well-established rule. Wild cards cannot be discarded unless a player only has them in hand. In the rare instance one is discarded, the card should be placed perpendicular to the prior discard. This freezes the discard pile, and cards below and including the wild card are not included in a future picked pack. Furthermore, after a wild card discard, the next player in turn cannot pick the pack with 2 matching wild cards. For a house rule to allow the pack to be picked with either matching wild cards or just any 2 wild cards might sound exciting, but goes against the rules and underlying themes of fairness inherent in the game. Moreover, a player would be required to meld these cards probably very late in the round and incur a large penalty for not completing the canasta. Moving along, courtesy special. This is very debated on social media. A special hand is made when a team has not yet opened. However, there is a very popular one-time exception for the round known as a courtesy special, and this is the most widely played rule. After one member of the team opens, their partner has 1 immediate turn to pick the 14th card to complete the special hand. Some house rules do not allow this. Moving on to card in hand when opening. A player ends their turn every single turn by discarding, and they can meld all their cards except their discard up until the turn card's reached. Once it's reached, since they're not going to be getting either 4 or 3 card replacements, they must have both a discard and at least 1 additional card in hand. A house rule, throwback to other styles of play, require players to keep not only the discard but also 1 card in hand, even if they're picking the talon. You cannot pick the pack for a special hand as the most widely accepted rule. This is well established, and we believe the rule requiring you to pick the pack is not met since sometimes you only need a single card for your special. Normally, you need a pair in hand to match the top card. There is a house rule that's really gaining in popularity and recognized on Real Canasta that permits a player to pick the pack for a special if both conditions are met. The competitor had just picked the pack, so there's only 1 card in the discard pile, and that discard is the 14th card to complete their hand. Replacing threes, and if a 3 is the last card in stock. Throughout the entire round, up until the very last card, you replace threes, even after the turn card. This is often confused with the after the turn card, you do not get a talon. A house rule is that players do not replace threes after the turn card. We don't know where this came from, but some people insist that once you reach the turn card, you don't replace your 3. We believe that it's not necessarily a house rule, but more of just a confusion with the turn card and talon. If a 3 is the last card is also widely debated. The most accepted rule on all grounds is that the gameplay ends. When doing our research, we did find that most in-person games are actually putting the 3s on the table. There are many options for house rules for this, and we discuss them in our guide. On Real Canasta, gameplay ends and the 3 is minus points. Any card can end the round if you're able to go out. Cards that normally cannot be discarded, like 3s and wild cards, can be your final discard since it's face down and you're ending the round. House rules. Some players do not still permit these cards to be the final discard, even though they're face down. On Real Canasta, if you kept a 3 in hand, you cannot end the round with the 3. Scoring for the other team when there's a special hand. When one team gets a special, the other team determines the score as if the round ended by going out any other way or if the stock was depleted. Points for melds, canastas, 3s, and penalties are calculated as usual. A house rule is that when a special hand is made, the other team's score is completely just wiped out. It's 0. This is known as wipeout scoring. Any points or penalties that have been awarded are completely wiped out, and we believe this uncommon house rule contradicts widely accepted methods of scoring and greatly impacts strategy during the round, since players know that they don't have to worry about penalties if they keep aces and 7s in hand if the other team gets a special. Some other notes that we didn't fit into this whole graphic: special hands are permitted to use dead cards. We're not sure why that's been a discussion lately. Some other versions of canasta require at least one mixed and one pure canasta to go out. That's not part of modern American canasta play. And if we missed any house rules that you believe are important or you'd like us to discuss house rules or other topics, email us at modernamericancanasta@gmail.com. You could join us on Facebook on our group, Modern American Canasta. Our videos are on YouTube at Modern American Canasta with the @sign, and we're on social media at Modern American Canasta as well. For a comprehensive guide to learn to play and improve your game, we invite you to check out Modern American Canasta, the complete guide, available on Amazon and modernamericancanasta.com. Thank you for listening, and we hope that your week is very special. Have a great day.